Hi, it's David here with Future Trading. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. I'm going to show you a simple way of how to extract larger targets from the market, as well as doing your trade management while doing so. I want to say this before we get into that, though. Thank you for the 8 of you. There's at least 8 of you that's supporting the information. I can't say thank you enough. Again, I mentioned this before, but I'll just show it to you again. This person only have 200 subscribers, 6,000 views, 400 likes, and well, 400 comments, and about 300 likes here. And I'm sure it's more than that by now. Same information here, same day. I have 800 people and we can't seem to get the views or the likes up. All right, so we're falling beneath 100, so it's my time to vacate. All right, so but I am going to give you as much information as I possibly can in this video. All right, so if you're in the market for additional information, I do provide that. You don't need it. Again, I got tons of information here and you're more than welcome to it. Almost all the videos are in real time except this one here. A lot of universal information so you can trade any market, any time frame. Now let's get into the content. Thank you for the 8 of you that were supportive. I just really want to say thank you. And you're the reason why I came back and want to give you some more information. All right. So the daily, I did tell you guys, and we talked about it here. Should you want to go back and look at this video here, we talked about these statics. All right. We talked about these statics and we talked about that daily. We knew that this zone was important, just this zone by itself. And I tell you why in that last video. This zone was here when it was like down here. There's sell pressure in this area. I went over that in the last video. I brought this information to you probably in that video or even the one before that they were going to probably want to do something up here. I can't say for certain whether or not they wanted to blow it. I suspect that they will. I do, and I said it in the last video. I think they want to go higher. I don't think they're going to turn. I don't. But learn about those statics in the last video. So they're showing us some sell pressure. And so we're going to take a look at this simple way, very simple way of going about it. Very simple way. All right. So I have a standard EMA 125 is the weight. All right. So the period is a 125 here. All you're looking for to go down, you want the market to pivot up, and there must be two lows, one being higher than the other, and then you want the market to break it. That's it. You want the market to trade right through it. The moment that it does that, I'm gonna need you to put your stop above this area. It can't be the area where it pivoted from. Okay, it can't be that. Okay, it needs to be where it tried to reach to. So here's that scenario here. It pivoted up, two lows higher. You need to put the stop, and it needs to be more than one bar. Okay, it needs to be a couple there. You need to put the stop behind the pivot that's before this scenario, all right? Because they're attempting to go that way, but then it breaks, all right? So just a little bit of logic, nothing complicated. All right, so now when it comes to the bull side, they're going up. You want to see a pivot, okay? And it needs to be lower highs, two of them being broken, okay? And you'll want to put the stop where it originated from. All right, so where it came from, you're going to want to put the stop behind that pivot because they tried to go down and got rejected. It's just that simple. So, and it needs to be more than one bar. Okay, so it can't be this, it can't be that. All right, and sure, that leaned over and then it pushed, but it can't be that. All right, it's not that. And I can tell you why, but let's not deal with that now. Just go with this. All right. And so they did it here. They moved down a little bit, but they got passes, right? Because that pivot would have been here, right? Pretty much one and the same. All right. So they got passes. They came down here. They hit this pivot here. Okay. And then they went up. Now, when they got up here, this is the part that you're not going to like, and it deals with the ranges. And if you're new, I'm gonna tell you what the range times are. We're gonna get to that chart in just a moment. But I want to put some context there for you. All right. And I want to give you something simple first. All right. So here's that scenario. They leaned over a little bit. The zone is back here. They went up higher. Okay, so technically it's a win, but it didn't come to the zone. Right? They went back down from this zone, but they didn't give you your new low. So that kind of sucks. So it's really a loss, but it's a win. Kind of sucks. That's all. It just kind of sucks. And so in here, kind of the same thing. You get a loss here because they broke that, but they didn't give you the new high. And then from here, You got that break, didn't really give you much. They came up there and kissed it, turned around, and they got past our zone from this side, as well as they didn't give us our new low. So inside this range, it sucks. And I told you guys above the center, below the center, bullish or bearish, but we really need them to get away from the range. Just want to get them away from it. But if not, you just want to go with the moving average, that's fine. Just want to put some context there for you. All right, so now we got 4 losses. So we got this one here, this one here, this one here, and even this one. That sucks. All right, that sucks. We had a couple wins, okay, but then actually we can't count this as a win yet until they get past that high. All right. So we had a couple wins and then we had 4 losses. All right, so here they did it again. All right, and then you get your run. All right, so from this side, same thing, same exact thing. You need them to pivot. You need them to pivot, break the pivot without touching the moving average. So the pivot cannot touch that moving average. And they need to break it without touching the moving average. All right. They move down. All right. So now, kind of the same thing. You didn't get it here. So we didn't get, the lower highs here, and let's go again. We didn't get that. So we got to do it from this side. All right. And preferably, yeah, that's kind of what you want to do. You're beneath the center. You're beneath the center. So let's try to go with that if we can. And of course, you got another break. Now, when it rallied up, because it did, it came back to rally up. It leaned over and broke it. It's more than 2 bars here. It's a doji, it's a red bar. It's more than 2 bars here. And they leaned into it. They popped up and they went up there. Now, this is where this is where they stopped. I think they're going lower. There's no question about it. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think they'll move down lower. We talked about how far it could possibly go. Now, that's that simple strategy. Very simple stuff. And all we're doing is we're using the 125 EMA. Now, that's the larger targets. Remember, I told you I'm going to show you the larger targets, and I'm going to show you something that deals with trade management. All right. Now, I'm not going to give you rules to trade management. I'm going to show you my tools, and you can decide from there if you want to go with my tools or whatever you're using is fine. It doesn't matter. But I got tools for $100. All right. And I just want to put that out there, and if you're someone that's new and you need some help, my tools should be able to help you get it done. All right. So we're going to just look at the information here about the ranges first. This is the chart that I've been showing you guys here on the channel. So if you go back in the videos, you'll see that I've been showing you this chart. All right. So now those are the ranges. These are the indications. So if you get the indicator suite, it has this up there. All right. So now let's go here. Same chart. I'm just changing the indications. That's all I'm doing. Here we got that one indicator here. All right. It's a little different. It's a little different. Just trying to show you areas that's important. That's all. That's important. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. It's like anything. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Now I'm gonna show you this other chart, but I'm gonna slide this out the way and bring it back in just a moment. I got one indicator again, just one indicator up here. All right, give you a different view. That's all I'm wanting to do, give you a different view. Now here, there's a slight difference. All right, slight difference. So we're going to just kind of look at that top, and then we're going to move. Now here, it's more frequent. So if you had the indicator suite, it's this one. If you want to use that one, that's fine as well. A little more frequent. They're not landing in the same spots. They're not going to do that. All right, they're not. And here, we didn't get it from the top with this indicator, but we got it with that one. All right. And then we created that big wall. And as you can see, they pulled up to it here. Okay. And then we got the breakdown. So let me show you that turn there. All right. So they're not the same. They're meant to behave differently. All right. And this is me coding indicators. I'm trying to give you just what I didn't have. $100. All right. So that bottom, they're almost the same. Not too much difference there. Almost the same. Pretty much almost the same. All right. Except for on that shoulder when they begin to move down. All right. Again, this is more frequent here. So it's going to give you a little bit more opportunities, if you will, to interact with it. All right. And you want them to absorb the areas. Now, here's one thing I will say when it comes to using these particular tools. These are just zones. All right. I know some of you like the fair value gap stuff. So I got some 3-bar setups for you. I even got a fair value gap chart for you. Again, I'm indifferent about that. Okay, I don't care what it is. It's the same thing moving the chart, majority. All right, but sometimes when they go outside the zone, I want you to project the zone. Just take the zone itself and project it down if they go through the back of it. Sometimes they just slightly kiss right outside the zone and turn. I just want you to think about that. So when you look at the zone and it seems like it's not working at that moment, don't worry. It will. It will. It will. Let me see. I think that's that line. I don't want to show that on all the charts here. Okay, so that was from our first chart. All right, so that's the only thing I'll tell you. That's the only thing I'll tell you about that. I'm not gonna go too far in there, but sometimes they go right, just slightly outside of it, and then they'll turn around. I want you to know how to treat that. So if you're using this indicator or this one here, just know that either one of those, just know sometimes if they go outside that zone, don't just automatically count it as a loss. Now sometimes they come in on right before it flips, right? So you see how active it's doing here, kind of pushing up into the zone, then pushing down, pushing up into the zone, and then pushing down. You're not getting that on this one here. It's not on this one. All right, it's not on this one. Okay, but this one is reading it to you, saying, "Hey, you know that's a problem." All right, so just want to show you that. All right, so if you're someone that's using the indicator suite, I want to give you the opportunity to know which ones you can kind of put on a chart. And I like to run the zones like that. That's all. And the one that I prefer to run out of those two, yes, and remember, I got tons of indicators. This the one I prefer to run on a compressed chart. This one right here. I like this one a lot more than the other. All right, because I'm not looking for frequency. That's not really what I like. Here's what I teach on the channel. Now, this is the free stuff with that moving average. All right. Remember the moving average setup that I showed you? Rewind the video. This is that moving average setup. I'm going to kind of scroll forward here. Remember, this is all about majority. That's what this chart is all about. And you get these templates. So I'm gonna make sure that they're with the indicators if you want the indicators. All right. So, and that's that range. Remember, I even told you guys, and then that was in this video. Let me show you which video that is as well. It was this one. All right, how to get an edge with the open. All right, now look at that open and see how many setups, the majority setups you're seeing. You see, I told you guys there's a certain amount of them. Now this is going to be particularly interesting on the last chart that I'm going to show you, because this bar right here is important. All right, when they pulled up here, matter of fact, this bar right here is important too. You're going to see it. Even this little area, we're going to dive into that in just a moment. But this is the free stuff on the chart, all right? The free stuff that I'm showing you guys on the channel, how to read the market with majority. Very simple stuff. All right, so now here's some more indications. Now, again, these are new additions that I've made. These indications here are new additions. These next three charts are new additions that I added to the indicator suite, and that's why I'm requiring that if you already have the suite, you want these new indications, you just have to pay an additional $100. All right, because it took me time to put all this stuff together, and so I just want to be compensated for my time. Again, it's well over 300 indicators for $100. You're not going to find that deal anywhere else. Trust me, I've looked around and there's people offering one indicator for $300. So I'm trying to give you 300 for $100. Just trying to do something different. That's all. Channel is all about difference. All right, so here you go. So same information with the moving average. Now, this is the trade management part using the tools. Now, there's a smaller level in here, and then there's a bigger one. I want you to pay attention. There's a smaller level in here, and this comes on the moment that the bar closes. And then there's a bigger one. All right, so when you look at what I showed you about, pivot, don't touch the average, have your stop behind the zone back there, just put it all together, and I'm going to kind of push through this information, and then I must go. All right. And again, those are all the indications. If you have the indicator suite recently, you will find these changes. If you purchased it recently, you will find these changes. If not, there's a cost you would have to incur. Just email me and I'll provide you the PayPal link and you can go from there. All right, so blue bars is important. They can come in before the turn and it's there to get the move on its way. All right, so it's really important. All right, so now let's go to the next chart here. Now, this is our volume one. We talked about how I put the volume together, but there's some other additional volume tools that comes with that volume. All right. There's some other additional tools that comes with that. try to help you manage the trade. That's all. Trade management. Try to help you know where you need to be taking your trades while it's still, in that direction. All right, and you can kind of see when it changes gears. And again, single bar plots, these little dots and squares, single bar plots, and those are the indications up there. All right. So push through this really quickly here. I know some of you may be new and you want to know what it is that the indications are looking like. I want to tell you what they are and show you as well. And I even go over the rules for the volume. You'll have to go back, I want to say, to this video here. I'm not going to go over them right now. I just want to show you that simple strategy. So the volume one, it was in this video. It was in that video. I think I covered it for a couple videos. So you can just go back to the volume videos and watch, what the colors mean. That's all, what the colors mean and how to go about them. All right, so that's the value one as well. All right, so now let's get out of here. Now, here's the final one. Now, keep in mind trade management. That's what these tools are meant to do, help you with trade management. And again, I threw that fair value gap version in there because there's so many people that's online that likes that. And even Ninja Trader made one, but I can tell you right now, so I took the liberty to make versions. I got several versions in my indicator suite, and hopefully you'll find just some of these useful. That's all. All right. So again, just tons of stuff here, tons of stuff. I did end up making a text for this, Dimitri and Josh and Mitch. I made a text for the volume zone because there's a volume zone associated with this trigger one. Let me find it here. If you want it, you can get it. But I made a text for it so I don't have to cover up the bars. But there's a zone. I did provide you guys the zone one, but there's a text as well if you want it. Just let me know. I'll get it over to you. So yes. So if you want these indications, you can have them $100, and they're meant to help you with that simple strategy. Just take a look at it. Do you need them? No. I tried to show you a simple strategy, and you could use majority and just trade that. Okay, so arrows to me, now these arrows, single bar plots, a counter. The counter ones to go with is with the level. Those are the ones you really want to go with, is the ones with the level. Try to go with the ones with the level. Try not to counter it. Try not to anyway. Try not to. I know this was a counter move here. The bar closes, the arrow. Well, no, that's with the level. That's with the level. That's with the level. I'm sorry. Let me find you a counter one. Yeah, we had a counter one up here. Counter move there. The moment the bar closed, there's a counter move there. Try not to counter the market. I told you guys about top ticking, bottom ticking. Try to leave that stuff alone. Don't do that. The market will take your account from you. I don't want to see you run into trouble. So I'm just push through this just a bit. There's those blue bars. That 930. Where is that 930? We're going to get to that in just a moment. Yeah, see that blue bar there. I did tell you that there's that 930. That was when that range had formed. That's important. I even told you that this little guy right here, that's important. That's blue. Blue is important. Blue is really, really important. When it came to that rally, okay, when it came to that rally off of yesterday's low, not yesterday's, I'm sorry, day before yesterday, this Saturday. When it came to that rally, I'm gonna show you what that looks like too. Let me go and do that, and then I must go. All right, so let's go back here. There's that blue. Okay, there's that blue. We had the pivot. Let's draw our simple strategy here. We pivoted. Okay, so it pivoted. Market pivot down. It was kind of all inclusive. I know this is kind of included, but they put it on the inside. They're slick. Now, if you didn't like that one, go with this one. Either which way, you can go with that one. You still would have had to stop down here. All right, so you can do that. Let's just do this. Let's put this here. They're slick. Sometimes they do that, but there's that blue bar on that bottom. Okay, there's that blue bar on that bottom. Let me just kind of put this here. They reached down. Okay, boom, took off to the upside. Okay, now that's yesterday. All right, so now let's scroll forward. They ran down yesterday. Okay, they hit that zone and then they popped up. Okay, they popped up. Now, where did they go? Okay, remember I told you that they got to pivot. You got your pivot here. They went down. Okay, it lifted up without touching the moving average and it broke it. You can't sell it here. Okay, you can't do that. Where is the market trying to reach to? That's important. Okay, come down to the close of that red bar. That's roughly, yeah, right there. They reach right in there and they turned over. All right, so these indications are meant to help you manage your trade. So if you're trying to, get some tools to help you along, if you're new, you want some tools to help you along, this may be a reasonable option for you. And then, of course, if you want to go beyond that, I do have a playlist that you're more than welcome to if you want information that's beyond what's free. I know a lot of people just want free and they want to be prosperous off free. You have to actually sow into what it is that you want to grow. All right, it's a process. Either you pay for education, pay for tools, or you pay the market. You're still going to have to pay. So don't think that you're going to get away from paying. All right. And again, I wish each and every one of you the best in your trading career. Again, I've tried my best to deliver content that's reasonable and definitely applicable. So I want you to be able to pull up any chart and see it. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, guys. It's everywhere. I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.